Joseph Igbenda Kapua Esquire, Commander of the Order of the Rokel, COR. You are the current Director General of the only independent public service broadcaster in West Africa, the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. You took over an institution that challenged your ability, challenged your charisma, and even challenged your physical balance for resurrection. And today, SLBC transmission is smooth. Staff performance and professionalism enhanced, its image built, its credibility restored, and its reliability and visibility heightened in a way that assures public trust for its public service broadcasting. This has handed you the meritorious honor of Commander of the Order of the Rokel. You may come forward, please.
Welcome on SLBC with the phone. News entertainment is part of SLBC again. So make it snatching to where we got the power. We got the power. Shit to SLBC, we got the power. We got the power. Cause they love me, they like her. They like her. We give me like her too. SLBC got the power. SLBC.
50 million United States dollar for just one runway and one terminal. And he compared that himself to the Mamama airport of 300 million. Except if I don't understand what a runway is.
Refer me to the paragraph, please, of the speech.
Oh, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker is also beautifully eating the 2 minutes.
No, I'll take note of that.
Transport. Mr. Speaker, in the same area of transport, paragraph 63, airport. I think I have referred you, and you're supposed to have this before you. And in 2 minutes, I cannot read except if the speaker wants to add another minute. In fact, the president mentioned 270 million for the one runway and a terminal. Mr. Speaker, this could build a brand new airport for 300 million. Let's agree the location remains the same, but the amount used compared to the 300 million that was supposed to be used for Mamama, I think this is not.
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
Mamama is alone.
Mr. Speaker, if the honourable member wants to cite a reference, he should read the reference so that the public can understand. The subject matter is build, operate, and transfer. So there is no direct liability to the economy of Sierra Leone. So whatever the operator chooses to spend, what we want is the property to be transferred to us on expiration of the tenure of the build, operate, and transfer. So to relate it to Mamama, which was a direct loan request from the Exim Bank, is misleading, Mr. Speaker.
I'm really enjoying the new pattern in this house today. Mr. Speaker, I'm waiting on you, sir. It's a new pattern. It's a new style. Mr. Speaker, I'm waiting for you to rule.
If you are making reference to that particular paragraph, since you've quoted the amount of money specified therein, related to what it referred, if I may help you, the statement says in the President's address, which is in there, he said, the $270 million for building a brand new, ultra-modern international air terminal at Lunge. I'm quoting him.
It's air terminal and airport. Can you differentiate, Mr. Speaker, for the records?
A brand new, ultra-modern international air terminal at Lunge.
Is that the same as airport?
I'm reading what is there.
Mr. Speaker, is that the same as an airport? My comparison is, you're talking of a terminal and I'm talking about building an airport. Can I continue, Mr. Speaker? You only gave me 2 minutes, except if you want to eat it again.
No.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I will not conclude this debate without ending in the area of health. Mr. Speaker, when you go to
Mr. Speaker, point of order. Yeah, my colleague started his debate this afternoon by mentioning the SLPP manifesto and the Lunge Bridge. I have gone through the manifesto. I did not see anything like Lunge Bridge.
No, we've gone over that.
You came late, or you were sleeping.
Carry on, please.
I'm sure you always sleep. You were sleeping.
You refer us to the page.
Mr. Speaker, when the President talks about technology in the health sector, it's one thing we applaud the President for. But Mr. Speaker, how do you run technology in our hospitals where you don't have electricity? Mr. Speaker, how do you talk about an active health sector that does not have pipe running water? Mr. Speaker, how do you talk about repairing and refurbishing hospitals in Western area when you have the hospital in Bintin is not running well with medications? Mr. Speaker, I am sure even when you are here, if you have pregnant women now in Bintin,
leave the hospital at Masombala?
well, if the Speaker's hospital or clinic in Bintin is not running well, what do you expect the people of Masombala to get? Mr. Speaker, we are bringing out this fact because in your capacity as Speaker, you ought to be at least visiting the clinic very close to in Bintin. It is deplorable in my last visit.
Where?
I think I have not said Masheka, I said Bintin. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I continue emphasizing on health deliberately because our health condition as a nation is bad. And our people need more. Our people deserve better. If we are spending $170,000 for our president on a medical trip, I think our people deserve better. Our people deserve better. In terms of human rights record, our people deserve better. Sierra Leone is on record. I think we'll go to Guinness Book of Records to be the only country where we've sent a madman to jail for expressing a mad view. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
There is one thing I can say about the last speaker. He always reminds me of me. In my day in this world. The only big difference is that I always had facts and figures. I relied on facts and figures to buttress and justify my statements. In your case, it's all full of conjectures and so on and so forth. But I understand where you are coming from. We are in the run-up to election. No. I give you the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to thank His Excellency the President for the speech well delivered in this chamber. I think the title of this book is to give thanks to His Excellency the President for what he has done for the past 4 years and giving us the what he wants to do for the last 1 year, which all of us here as members of parliament, we have also eaten 4 years of our time, and we have only a year to close this mandate that was given to us by our people. And the president referred to himself as number 2 person. That is to say, the electorate are more superior than we, the electors. I love that statement from His Excellency the President. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, also inasmuch we are all serving the national interests of Sierra Leone, and every one of us here is representing the constituency, I want to believe, as a statesmen and women of the Sierra Leone Parliament, we are also representing our constituencies. We are in the day-to-day running of the national administration, the activities, projects that are within our constituencies need to be made known to the people of the country. And that is why, as people's representative, we need to look at the document very, very well. We make critical analysis of all what the president made clear to us here. And also, we offer solution to most of those problems we actually find out in the book. So that is why it's good we have the government to succeed as a parliament. You look at the problems that are within the state, you bring them up, you offer solution so that you also help the government to succeed. I think that is the role of members of parliament. Because we are also part of governance. The 3 arms of government, the legislative, the executive, and also the judiciary. So these 3 arms come together to see that we help each other to succeed. So if there are flaws within the administration, then you bring most of these flaws up, you offer solution, and then you help the government to succeed. I want to start with road, that is under the infrastructure. As I said, each and every member of parliament here is representing a particular constituency, even though by extension we are members of parliament representing the nation. For road in Kono district, of course in my constituency in particular, the 72-kilometer road that was launched by His Excellency the President to link Kono district to Guinea for international market was a laudable one. And as I speak, the work has started. And it's a tarmac road which will open a business hub for Kono district. So that's a very laudable project which His Excellency the President launched for the people of Kono District. So I want to thank the President for that. And also within the Kono municipalities, within the Kono municipality, we have so many culvert bridges that were constructed with the support of the city mayor, His Lordship Mayor Komba Machisa. Today, when you want to go to Bongalu, you will not take a U-turn, but you have easy access because this connectivity within the municipality actually helps Kono District for these better bridges and culverts. For Njagbema to combine there, which is also part of my constituency, you know, last week I drove with a car, a very low car to combine there, which is not possible, which was not possible for the past 10, 15 years, for a car to reach to combine there. Just like I said, even those who implement most of these projects, they have problems along the line. That's to say, I have a picture in my phone wherein the contractor that do that particular road, there are some culverts, it did not do it well. So I want to call on the chairman for works to actually see into that particular contractor that do the work from Njagbema to combine there needs to amend most of these culverts that are having problems. Environment. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, for environment, we all knew that the president made mention of within 5 years, they are going to plant 5,000 trees, 5 million trees. It's inside the document. I want to actually grave on the indulgence of His Excellency the President and also the Executive because of the proliferation of large-scale mining in Kono District and also the massive cutting down of timber within that district and also Falaba and the Kwenadugu district, which they actually hit very strongly that the said 5 million trees that are proposed within the President's plan within the next 5 years, that 1 million trees needs to be planted in that part of the country so that we will cushion to avoid disaster of so many such. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, because of this, lands are not acclaimed by mining companies. 2 months back, we also lost 3 kids, school-going pupils, in the mining pits. So these are also disastrous. So there must be a mechanism to actually acclaim most of those lands that have been dilapidated by the mining companies. So I request the President to look into that and for us to achieve, for us to lose lives of such at that age because of mining pits that are open. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I had wanted not to talk much on education, but as an educationist, somebody who has been in the system for the past 20 years, and somebody who is a proprietor of schools, somebody who owns 26 schools within Kono District, I want to bring some issues regarding that. For education, one of the things that I will commend His Excellency the President for, the education has been decentralized in terms of writing public exam. Most especially for the MPSC. I spoke in one of the documents here for 2 years back that we lost lives when kids were moving from one place to come to Njagbema to write the MPSC. Along the road, one of the teachers got into an accident and he died. He was first of all amputated and then later died because he was taking kids from Mafindo Chiefdom to come to Njagbema to write the MPSC. But as we speak, Corona District have 100% MPSC centers, wherein pupils are writing their exams right in the chiefdoms. So this is decentralization. And that has also cushioned the issue of, is it rape when people were moved from one place to the other? I went to Falaba. I went to establish a school at Yarawadu in the constituency of Honorable Mara. I established a secondary school there. I saw kids were moving. They worked 3 to 4 days for them to access a MPSC center to write exam. And this has become a thing of the past. So it's a very good step, the decentralization of education is very, very good for us. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the only issue I have with the issue of education, which I want to propose a solution to it, if we want to succeed in the free quality education, the timely allocation of a school fees subsidy. Because the free education does not encourage teachers taking monies from pupils. So if that is the case, then there must be a fast remittance of those funds into the account of the schools so that they may access this money and then they make use of it during the period, the 3 or 4 month period within the school calendar. But that is the problem. We find out the remittance of school fee subsidy is coming very late. Look at this one. The second time school fee subsidy came in third term. What do you expect most of these schools to do with this money? They will just sit down and then make use of it. So it's good that the school fee subsidy needs to be timely for the schools to make very good use of it. For teachers, when you look at the allocation for teachers, I want to also say that Corona District will stand tall, wherein we got over 500 teachers employed in the last allocation. But what happens when you look at the amount of schools every other day, establishment of schools here and there, people don't even look at the distance between existing schools to established schools. That's also bringing a very huge problem on government. Because when you establish school, the law is 3 miles radius. But as we speak, in 2018, I spoke about 800 schools here for Corona District. But as we speak, the number has increased to 1,000. The number has increased to 1,000. 1,000 schools. So let there be also measures wherein the Education Act, we make a very good use of it. How? The establishment of a community school or a private school, we need to go back to the document, because the document says you need to first of all look at the distance from this school to this other school before you establish. Because when they establish, community teachers will come into those schools and then they will start to cry, we don't have approved teachers, we don't have this one. It's very, very much serious, Mr. Speaker. I'll go to agriculture. For agriculture, I want to look at the youth farms. In my constituency, I think within Corona District, my chiefdom, where I came from, came first in the implementation of the youth farm, because they cultivated 60 acres of land, wherein they have over 200 bags of rice. And today, they even moved from that particular point because they look at the seed is very much successful. So they moved to another farm where they were able to maximize over 70 or 80 hectares. That is also good for us. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the youth farms for other chiefdoms. In our agriculture committee, we make mention of certain problems that are within. Because most of those money were remitted directly to the account or to the phone numbers or the phones of the youth chairman. And later on, they transfer it back to the customer or somebody that is in charge of with the responsibility to buy the seeds, which most of the youth chairmen don't even know they are contractors. It's very serious. So the youth ministry and the agency that is in charge of that, they need to look at it very seriously, because for us to have a successful youth farm, they need to look at the transfer of those funds and what are some of the benefits. Because they told them that even fertilizers will come, but they did not supply it. So the Ministry of Agriculture needs to stand very firm to see that all what they want to put into those policies met. Mr. Speaker, you know, somebody makes mention of the MDAs here. Most of these issues we are discussing is as if we are discussing it within ourselves. But those who implement most of these projects needs to be here for them to air most of these recommendations, so that when they go back to their ministries, then they will implement them. Because members of parliament go to their constituencies, they find out most of the problems, and when they find them out, they will come back to this well. So in discussing the issue of His Excellency the President, what he put into this particular book, because from the manifesto and then he put it to this book, they need to be here, wherein members of parliament are addressing or making recommendations, so that they will be able to go and then continue to do well. But if they are not here, I just think that we are talking to ourselves. So we need to look at that. Maybe in the subsequent debate from tomorrow, they will continue to have them here. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, for health, you know, one of the good things I find out from the health sector is the ambulance service. The ambulance service is doing tremendously well. The ambulance service is doing tremendously well, because in my constituency, it's doing tremendously well, because each chiefdom wherein we have a PHU and you have either a communication tower present, there is an ambulance station there to take sick people for emergency cases to the health centers within the urban center, so that they will treat them well. For Kono, the health aspect, when you talk about health aspect, I think after Kono Hospital, we are number one, the entire country. We are number one, yes, for health. For health, we are number one. Even when you talk about it, it's not private, because when PRH, even the different type of tests you are talking about, the machines that are responsible for tests, to do different types of tests, you go to Combine. Whatsoever test you want to do, you can do it in Combine. And PRH is also complementing government. PRH is complementing government efforts. So it means if somebody is sick with tuberculosis, with whatever diagnosis they must have done, you can be tested for all kinds of sickness in Combine. So that tells you that the health aspect of Kono District is very, very good. Mr. Speaker, the only recommendation I have for the health aspect is for the timely distribution of the free healthcare drugs. The timely distribution of the free healthcare drugs. I think for 3-4 months, from December, January, February, there was this problem for free healthcare drugs in Kono district, most especially the peripheral units within the chiefdoms. So the Ministry of Health needs to look into that for them to supply the free healthcare drugs very timely to those PHU and also the peripheral units within the district. Of course, for the Kwedu Government Hospital, the PIH, if you want to do any kind of test, you don't pay for it. Yes, they subsidize that. They subsidize that. All kinds of tests, you don't pay for it. In the Kwedu Government Hospital, you don't pay. PIH subsidize that. And also for operational cases, wherein they talk about 500,000 per operation, if you have a hernia or whatever, they pay 50% out of that. So that is why some of us that are doing operational cases for our constituents, of which I have done over 100 operations, within that 100 operations, you just pay a fee of 300,000. The other 50% is paid by PIH. So it's a very good one for us in that part of the country. So that is why in my intro, I make mention of that in as much we are representing this country, we are also representing our constituencies. Before I take my seat, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, let us go to paragraph 7. Paragraph 7. Paragraph 7, it says with the conduct of the first ever digital national census, the 2021 midterm population and housing census, my government will enforce base the national development planning on credible data. We have also popularized and amplified our national population policy to ensure that our development interventions are aligned with the aspiration of the citizens. That links with Section 38A of our Constitution. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Section 38A talked about the amendment that was done in 2012? No, 2002. For us to have a proportional representation, because by then most of the areas were not well disarmed. So because they were not disarmed, we look at President Kaba and say, I want to look at the proportional representation to be done, because not all constituencies within the country was peaceful. So because of that, it brought in the proportional representation. And that Section 38A, you look at it, it also said that when a census is credible, or when the census is not credible, then you bring in the proportional representation. And in this paragraph 7, the president make mention of that the midterm census was credible, was perfect and clear. So that tells you, if we bring in the
what the president said, or you putting words into the president's mouth?
No, what the president said.
Read.
Paragraph 7.
Read.
Paragraph 7 says, with the conduct of the first ever digital national census, the 2021 midterm population and housing census, my government will henceforth base national development planning on credible data. That tells you the data was credible.
That's your understanding.
Mr. Speaker, so it means the data was not credible, right?
I'm not saying that.
That is what I am saying now. Okay. When you look at Section 38,
let us wait. Honorable members.
But it reads that way.
My understanding of this, which may or may not agree with yours,
Okay.
is the president is expressing an expectation that the census result will provide a basis for a credible data for national planning.
And he referred to the 2021
That's what
midterm
he's
population
saying.
and housing
That's-
census. So that is it.
You're not too sure.
That all plannings are going to be done based on the 2021 housing and population census.
Provided that the data is credible. That's what he's saying.
No, I think there is no provision here, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, well, carry on.
So there is no provision.
Carry on.
Because it said all plannings, national plannings are going to be done by the 2021 midterm population and housing census. That is what's there. It said all that is going to be done by the aspiration of the citizens. So if that is the case,
Is the result out yet?
well, I think the president preempts that it refers to the midterm population housing census
The
2021.
president,
Mr. Speaker.
No. The president
Mr. Speaker.
expects that the data will be credible. That's what he's saying there.
The honourable member is just trying to tell us how credible and sincere and honest this president is. That is all, nothing more.
Now that you are on the floor, who did it?
Mr. Speaker, the time is through.
Mr. Speaker.
The time is through. At the end of the SFF to be suspended.
Any seconder?
The president.
I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Who? Okay, thank you. All those in favor of
Not ready.
those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, honourable members, inasmuch the president make mention of that one here, you link it with section 38A. If the census is credible,
Now you're talking.
if the census is credible,
Now you're talking.
that is why, if the census is credible, then we need to go by boundary delimitations instead of bringing a PR system.
Correct.
Because when census is credible, you do boundary delimitations. But you don't come again with professional representation. Professional representation debar you from getting in touch with the constituents. Debar you from touching the constituent. And also, wherein, as we are sitting here since this morning, people might have having calls from their constituents, calling them. I have problem with this. But with the PR system, you don't have access to that. When you call me, I will say, I'm representing Kono District. So I want to believe that it is better for us to go by the consensus delimitation than bringing the PR system. Because the government has done midterm census on that. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable member, thank you very much. But let me say this. It will be a complete misunderstanding if you were to believe that the PR system is going to create a disconnect between members of parliament and their constituents. I said it would be erroneous for anybody to believe that. It does not establish a disconnect between you and your constituents, the PR system. Anyway, I recognize the Honorable at the far end near the exit door.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Let me have your name so that you will not rise tomorrow and say you've not spoken.
Mr. Speaker, I am Honorable Abdul Muniru Lansana, representing the people of constituency 121.
What's the name? Abdul?
Honorable Abdul Muniru Lansana, representing the people of constituency 121.
Thank you.
The constituency covers Kleintown, Kanike, Blackwell Road. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, 13 days ago, the president of this nation was in this house outlining things he has done and things he intends to do for this wonderful country. I will have gone straight to the speech, but as good speakers will always do, issues that have raised doubts are always clarified before really taking grounds on what you're standing on. On that note, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as stated from the Constitution of this country, Section 97, Section 97A, that under the privileges and responsibilities of members of parliament, subsection A says, all members of parliament shall maintain the dignity and image of parliament both during the sitting in parliament as well as in their acts and activities outside parliament. But what we've seen in this house this morning has gone contrary to that provision as established by the constitutions of this country. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the member from the other side of the aisle who made that statement is really a disappointment to me because he happens to attend the same school with me where our motto says, truth shall triumph. But that motto has been violated today in this house. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, our manifesto in this country on page 80 talks about exploring possible options for the construction or linking of Freetown to that of Lungi. Having gone through what the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, which is the most recognized and valuable dictionary of modern times, states, that dictionary defines the word explore to mean, as a verb as it is used, it is to travel through, that is, an unfamiliar area in order to learn about it. That is, when you explore a place, it means to look for places that are unfamiliar so that you get an information relating to that unfamiliar place. And that dictionary also adds the definition to say, inquire into or discuss, that is a subject in detail. Having defined that, because it was made as a reference to our manifesto, which is a 96-page manifesto to the people of this country, page 80 makes that clear, and having defined what exploration means, my brother was saying people are reading or people are not reading, and I want to tell him he is reading, but he's not understanding what he's reading. Now, coming proper to what we are here for this afternoon, taking reference to the speech delivered in this house by no other person but His Excellency the President of this noble republic, Dr. Retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio, I want to express thanks to him because he gave us, as citizens of this nation, the priority and classified us as the #1 citizen, as he stated that clearly in paragraph 16. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, paragraph 16 reads, I am before you today the son of a mother who has no formal education, occupying the second highest office of our country. I say the second because the office of the citizen is in fact the highest position of our nation and democracy. We are a president who means well for the people he serves. He has not prioritized himself despite the fact that we've given him the mandate and right to serve as the #1 personality. He has taken back that honors to say that right, that mandate, that value has been given back to us to be the #1 citizens of this nation, for which we thank him as a president. And what is that mandate telling us as citizens of this nation is that for this country to develop, it is not tied in the hands of the president alone, but that of the citizens of this nation. Mr. Speaker, honorable member, the president in this very chapter, chapter 16, focuses on human capital development. And today in this house, we will be doing justice because there are data already available from the midterm national development plan that makes clear in form of percentages what this country has stand to benefit when it comes to the enrollment of pupils in our primary and secondary schools. As stated in the report from page 33, 34, with the leave of Mr. Speaker, I read, accordingly, the proportion of girls completing primary education increased from 65.4% in 2018 to 79.7% in 2019 and 84.6% in 2020, as well as for boys completing primary education from 66.6% in 2018 to 79.6% in 2019 and 83% in 2020. The proportion of girls completing junior secondary school JSS increased tremendously from 48.7% in 2018 to 63.1% in 2019. Mr. Speaker, relying on this evidence provided so far, with the fact of data as it is mentioned in the medium-term national development plan and as talked of under the human capital development by Mr. President, and having read the midterm report provided by the Ministry of Basic Education, as it stands today for 2021 alone, government has spent 162 billion leones as school fees for pupils attending primary and secondary schools. Examination fees stands at 73 billion leone in 2021. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as the President made mention in paragraph 68 on NIG, he said, when we assumed office in 2018, the energy sector in the entire country was 16%. But on the 10th of this noble month, the President made in a speech that it has moved from 16% to 31%. And how has that happened? I'm talking about 32 is the projection for 2022. Go down, you will see. 31 is where we stand now. For 2022, we go to 32. 32. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, people might want to know when we talk about the NIG, how have we moved from 16% to this said 31%? When we talk about NIG in this country, we are not talking about Freetown as just a place. We are talking about the country as a whole. And in order for us to achieve this said 31%, this government, through what we call the Midi-Grid's light provision facility has been able to make provision for light facilities in key towns like Mashaka and other areas. That's summing up to what we call this 31%. When it comes to the western area, as my brother is rightly saying, that there are challenges, we do agree. And these challenges are as a result of the networking system. Because when you talk about light, it is a network. And in order for you to be able to fulfill this network, is for you to ensure you put all modalities in place. And in making sure that these modalities are achieved, this government, through support that has been generated, we've been able to build 5 substations in the western part of this town. If you go today at Congo Cross, you will see a substation that is set for the networking system. You go to Falcon Bridge, you'll see a substation. You go to Lumley, Kingdom, and Wilberforce, and all these substations are completed and ready to receive the power that we'll be having for an easy distribution to the general and entire household of this country. In last year's speech, the president made clear, he said, we have generated sufficient electricity, but where does the problem lies is on the distribution aspect. And if the network is not set, the distribution will be a problem. And that is why for us in the East, I can boastfully say in this house that the substation in Kleintown, just within Guji compound, back of my wash car center, has been completed and ready and set to receive this networking system that will provide enabling and sufficient light for my constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, whenever you look at sincerity and honesty, you count on the speech of the president as made in this house on this fateful day. In his rightful senses, he expressed that indeed, taking that of Martin Luther King's speech, and I quote, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moment of comfort, but where he stands at the time of challenge. And indeed, we saw that showcasing in this noble country when we were faced with the COVID-19 pandemic. Before that attack, the president of this nation was quick to make certain regulations that made that particular disease not to affect us as it did under the Ebola surge. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, people that are affected with COVID suffers from what we call insufficient airflow. And in order for us to be able to combat that well, this government generated what we call oxygen plant at the Wilberforce Hospital, where patients that were affected by COVID were admitted. And when we talked about oxygen plant, it is a plant that makes available and ready at every bed of the patient that were being affected by this disease. And that makes their breathing system to be easy and equipped. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the president went further to talk about in paragraph 3 how this government is set in investing in education and our future generation, and that of access to justice. And in the quest for us to be enabling and access justice, we've seen in the entire country the establishment of courts, magistrate courts, that will reduce the high number of influx into the Freetown municipality when it comes to legal matters. As A.V. Dicey and other great writers have said, that once you want to seek justice, there are time limits. But the problem facing with those time limits falls on the grounds of what we call the jam-packness or influx of people within our court system. Yes, by law, an accused must be tried within a specific time. But considering the number of cases filed in our courts, that makes it impossible. But this government has ensured that they expand on the court system so that every person that has been accused will be tried speedily and expeditedly for you to get justice at once. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, this president in his speech made clear that nobody can come forward and say, I have been kept in prison as a political prisoner for what I have said as a journalist. It is as a result of this very house has put to history the old long law that criminalized the act of journalism in this country. Today, we have decriminalized that part, that every journalist now has edible field to say what you believe in as truth and reliable information for the listening populace and reading populace of this particular nation. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the president made in paragraph 10, stating the support he has given to one, the importers. And he went further to say taxes in key commodities like rice, health supply has been reduced. And in this very well, we were part of those tax reduction. But today, as said by the president in paragraph 16, as citizens who hold the #1 position in this nation, it is mandatory on us to see how we could help the people or the masses by making sure this reduced tax is being felt by the people in the market. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, before I finally take my seat, I want to bring key focus on paragraph 14, where the president makes mention of the projected growth rate to increase to 5.0%. And that increase, many people will be asking, how possible will that come to effect? But for people who might be having that doubt, I want to make it clear in this house that that growth will come to effect because this government has ensured that we get what we call prudent economic management. That is why we have an effective and efficient anti-corruption commission that is empowered and mandated to trace whosoever is ready and willing to divert our economy. He also made mention in that same line of this 5% to say we are enhancing domestic revenue mobilization. When we talk about domestic, we are looking at the in-house method of putting together resources on how we can help the citizens of this nation. And with that projection, we will achieve it by ensuring that that domestic revenue is well controlled. He also mentioned of rationalizing expenditure. That is, wherever we are spending as a government, we will ensure we make sure it falls within proper management so that the resources of this country will not be diverted into anything that is not beneficial for the people of this nation. He also talked about reducing debt sustainability. And under the reduction of debt sustainability, I want to make this clear in this house that many people have cast blame on SLPP government to be one of the highest debt takers in the nation. But following this report in my hand, which is a report put together by Christian Aid, Action Aid, Oxfam, appealing to international partners to reduce the debt on Sierra Leone, which they title the Sierra Leone Debt Situation of 2020. The graph here shows that when Pakaba left this nation in 2007, the debt of this country was held at 500,000 United States dollars. But before we could clock 2016, the debt of this country was 6.3 billion United States dollars. Before we could go to 2017, the debt of this country was 16.3 billion United States dollars. Before we could go to 2018, the debt of this nation clocked 22.3 billion United States dollars. Before we could complete 2018, where they left, because 2018 we did not take a loan. The calculation within that 3 months, when they knew they were leaving, the debt increased from 22.3 billion to 26.78 billion United States dollars. As it stands presently, our debt as it stands presently is 30.71 billion United States dollars. Now, this debt is an accumulation from what has been and what is. So, mathematically speaking, it tells you that between 2018 to 2022, where we stand, Sierra Leone, under the SLPP government, has only taken $4.71 billion. Meaning, it is not by my count. Here is the report. It was laid in this very well to every member of parliament. I will not say things that is not justified. Whosoever is in this house and watching out of this house can refer to the Sierra Leone debt situation 2020, which can make clear our debt standing in this nation. So it tells you that the former government, which is the government of the All People's Congress, made a debt incursion of 26.78 billion United States dollars. Yes. So SLPP government has just done 4 billion. So if you are saying today that out of 500,000 United States dollar debt, you've incurred that, then it becomes a food for thought. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, many questions roam around the feeding aspect when it comes to the free quality education. From the data provided here, under the budget, under the midterm national development plan, it is stated that food was provided for children in over 1,000 piloted government and government-assisted schools across the country in 2018 and 2021, benefiting a total of 404,836 people, with more schools approved by government following the launch of the free quality education. In 2018 and 2019 academic year, for instance, government procured and distributed about 45.40 billion worth of teaching and learning material. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as I take my seat this very afternoon, I am quite aware and assured that this country is in the right hands of the right man, because that man is honest, sincere, transparent, and trustworthy to move this country to a better place. As he said before he assumed office, I have not promised the people of this country a quick fix, but I have promised them a total fix. And that total fix is what will transform this nation to a nation that will never be desired to leave Sierra Leone, but to be in Sierra Leone and enjoy our facility as it has been provided for us in the nation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well delivered. Well delivered.
Now, so you they teach arguments only.
I thank the honorable member for his contribution to the debate.
Imam, they need talk through. And Imam. One only Imam.
Hey.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Speaker.
The Lone Star.
The Lone Wolf.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
By 4.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I am Fode Lamin Kaba from Kwenadugu.
Sorry, Honorable Kaba. Honorable
Fode Lamin Kaba from Kwenadugu, constituency 044.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you know, when I heard the most recent speaker talking about the billions of dollars, one thing came to my mind. I said, I wish you were at the market square or at the heart of this town making such statements. Because for me and for the people down there, it sounds as a complete mockery of the suffering they are going through. This morning when we started, the leader of government business, in his opening remarks, made reference to the global crisis. And besides, the president, in his address, paragraph 2, also made reference to the unpredictable global crisis. He said no one could have predicted then that we would also be tackling a global pandemic that would cause unprecedented disruptions, irrational spikes, and uncertainties within the global economy. Well, the leader of government business reiterated that. He made reference to the disturbances. He also made reference to particularly America now importing baby formula. Indeed, he was right. He was quite right. Perhaps for the very first time, America is importing baby formula. But one thing we all need to understand is governments all over the world sign a social contract with their people. In 2018, this current government signed a social contract with the people of this country. And that social contract was that the people gave him their mandate, and he in turn was, is, and should be responsible for the welfare of the people. No excuse. No excuse. He must at all times be responsible for the welfare. That is the social contract we signed. That was why when the leader of government business was making reference to America, yes, the entire world is suffering from the crisis, from Corona, as you might want to blame, the Ukraine war. But that's no excuse. That is why in America today, unemployment is at its lowest in history. Unemployment is at its lowest in history, in the history of America. Unemployment is at its lowest. Let me tell you, okay, let me come. But the approval rating of President Biden is also at its lowest, 30%. Do you know why? The simple reason is because the people don't judge their welfare by employment. They don't judge it by the number of employment. They judge it by what they do and live by day, every day going on. What brings food to the table? What brings food to the table? How much do they pay for their kids' welfare, their kids' schooling? The price of fuel.
The price of rice.
So these are the things they judge their governments by. And that is exactly what the people of this country are judging this government by. Let us continue to spend the entire week here talking about the billions the government has spent, the plans the government has. As long as they do not reflect on the lives of the ordinary man there, we are all becoming accountable to our people. We are deceiving the people of this nation. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, when the president came in 2018, well, for some they might say, well, he was not well versed in administration.
Is he still bad?
He was not. 4 years down the line, he has absolutely no excuse. He made several promises. The president assured us.
Mr. Speaker, point of order, Mr. Speaker.
It is a debate.
No, point of order, Mr. Speaker. 34-1. Mr. Speaker, in the first place, I just want to clarify one thing as far as what he just mentioned on the presidency. The president has vast administrative expertise.
Well,
no, Mr. Speaker, let me come in. The president has ruled this country before. The president has been a military man. He has fought for this country with his life. He has commanded, brigades. Mr. Speaker, he needs to withdraw that, Mr. Speaker. He needs to withdraw that. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very mindful of what I say. That was why I said perhaps. So it is a matter of opinion. That's my opinion. I'm not too sure. If you are sure, it's fine. I'm okay with it. Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
You know, let me cite a very famous writer to all of you, both sides. Just to help you, there is a huge difference between fact and opinion. Facts are sacred. Facts are sacred and incontrovertible. Opinions are free. And they belong to you alone.
Mr. Speaker,
thank you,
Mr. Speaker, I want to join you. I agree with you, but it is on that note also, I want to remind this House that you debate for a specific purpose. And when you debate, you advance points to win your argument, and this is exactly what he's doing. When it is time for you to come up, you will come up.
Mr.
Speaker, in logic, that all of us went through conventional education. In logic, you don't bring fallacies when they are saying things that is fallacious. You make sure you're careful. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, can I continue? Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
Mr. Speaker, sir, point of order. Point of order. You know, we need to make corrections. Yeah, this is a public debate. The information the honorable member talked about unemployment rate, about the United States of America is totally wrong. You know? You have to wait for me, please. Wait.
You have a turn to debate.
According to Macro Trends, yeah, this is an economic website that is based in the United States. The unemployment rate for 2022 is 3.6%. The unemployment rate for this May 2022 is 4.6%. Check your records.
Thank you very much thank you very much for confirming what I earlier said.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I was very clear. I said unemployment is at point of lowest.
April, it was 3.6.
No, it doesn't matter.
No, it was 4.6.
What is important?
How can you
unemployment is at its lowest.
No, how can you say it was the lowest?
No.
Yeah.
You made your point of order.
And let me emphasize also, unemployment in America is at its lowest in history. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, again, when the leader of government business was doing his opening, he spoke about fuel. You know, sometimes I feel so disturbed. This came up again in the budget hearing here, debate, about Sierra Leone being amongst the countries with the cheapest. You know, this is mockery to the people of this country. It is mockery. When you go through records, you discover that Sierra Leone is not even among the 15 cheapest in Africa. Yes, it is not. Then you go, now let me tell you, Ghana in fact is the highest. Ghana is the highest when it comes to the cost of fuel. It is the highest. So, but when we compare Ghana and Sierra Leone, it is less than $0.56. Less than $0.56. I know you might be confused because for some of you this is the first time you are getting this record. But that's the truth. And fuel cost in Sierra Leone is higher than Guinea, is higher than Liberia, is higher than Ivory Coast, is higher than so many other African countries. So let us begin to know some of these things. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the President in his speech said in page 9 under food security, he said food security is not merely about filling people's stomachs or guaranteeing that people can buy food in markets. In 2018, the President said in page 2, paragraph 6, in the new direction, the overall goal of our agricultural policy is sustainable and diversified production of food on a scale enough to feed the growing population as well as providing gainful employment. In fact, he laid emphasis on attracting and increasing investment in agriculture. And bullet three, he said, increasing food crop production. That was in 2018. The irony here is, now fast forward to 2022, he is saying food security is not merely about filling people's stomachs. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the simple reason for this is because the President knew very well, and he knows now, that he has failed to provide bread and butter for the people of this country. So now he is shifting from providing food to saying it is not only about filling our stomach. For God's sake, let us for some time pause and try to be sincere with the people of this country. Let us try to be sincere with the people of this country. If for 4 years from day one, the President assured everyone in this nation that the days of hunger are gone. In fact, he had some people in his government who were saying in 6 months we will fix the economy. We will solve the problem of bread and butter. And today, Sierra Leoneans are more hungrier than before. Sierra Leoneans are suffering more than before. And yet we sit here, we begin to shower praises that are undue. We begin to say nice words, while the people we represent are down there, suffering, struggling to get a single meal per day. That is the justice. The President spoke. For us in Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
The one on hunger.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the records are there if you go and check the hunger index. We are not. We were the third hungriest country when we took over. Now we've moved 2 places above other countries. So the fact is, in as much as the indicators are not saying what the aspiration of this government is, the point is we have moved 2 places from where we met Sierra Leone in terms of hunger at the time when President Nkrumah was handing over to President Julius Maada Bio. That is one fact, Mr. Speaker. The second fact is, in terms of rice production, in the valedictory speech, President Nkrumah admitted that when he took over in 2007, we were producing 600,000 metric tons. They spent 11 years in powers. They were only able to add 400,000. So I don't understand what they are saying about making progress in terms of food security, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I rejoin that to the point of order. I wonder what statistics or analysis my colleague from Lumley is using. We are talking per country, whether we have gone 10 places up or 50 places up, but WFP has confirmed that today more Sierra Leoneans are hungrier than they were before in 2018.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Speaker, it is that same WFP report that gave us 2 places above what we were.
Mr. Speaker, to be honest and sincere with my colleague, I was not sent here by indicators. I was sent here by people. I'm here to represent people. And I'm speaking what is affecting those people. This is not a case of WFP or a case of indicator. It is a case of what is really happening on the ground. What I witness, what I feel, and what I pass. So you don't transmit on indicators. Those indicators are not reflective on the lives of our people. And that is what matters.
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
Mr. Speaker. What point of order, sir? Mr. Speaker, what point of order? The man is debating. Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
We know you don't want the debate.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
You continue, flow.
You know, sometimes I feel disappointed.
Mr. Speaker,
you don't go to your people and tell them that, this indicator says we are doing well, while those people are struggling to get what to eat.
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
My point of order is 34. Mr. Speaker, I said it this morning when the Honorable from Constituency 59 was trying to politicize things that are global. As we speak today, 15% by a survey sanctioned by Sky News, 15% of people in the UK are skipping food to save money. 84% of people in the UK expect cost of living to increase in the next 6 months. Mr. Speaker, this economy is driven by importation.
Mr. Speaker,
and it is
point of order, Mr.
it is hypocrite for the member of parliament.
Mr. Speaker, it seems as if
hypocrite for the member of parliament to come here and speak without understanding that people are
having a parallel debate with the honorable member.
Mr. Speaker,
because he has a point of order.
It seems honorable.
That is exactly what is happening now.
The debate of my
our situation is because you are the
you are the public.
This is a public debate. This is a public debate. People don't have jobs. This is a public debate. I have said something and I have quoted President Nkrumah.
But you cannot compare the UK with the UK.
400,000 metric tons.
You are being disingenuous to the people of this country. You cannot compare Sierra Leone with UK or the United States.
But you mentioned the United States.
Mr. Speaker,
you mentioned the United States on unemployment. You do not say anything.
You cannot compare them.
But you mentioned the United States. You did not say.
The bag of rice is 500,000 euros. Can you compare the bag of rice?
But you mentioned the United States when it was about unemployment.
Rices are staple food.
But he mentioned unemployment.
Rices are staple food.
He mentioned the United States when he was talking about unemployment.
I was referencing the leader of government.
Yes, prices are high. They're killing the people and you're suffering too.
Order! Order! Have you stopped sparring now? Hold on!
My colleagues on the other side are not allowing this debate to continue.
Hold on!
No, Mr. Speaker, I point of order, Mr. Speaker. Since I came this morning, I called the MPs on this side and advised them to be very calm. I advised them to be very calm because what I have noticed is that my colleagues on the other side are not interested in allowing this debate to flow. They are rising up with points of order, objections. This is a debate. Let them wait. My colleague from the Kisi area, Munir, he debated peacefully until he finished. Let them allow the debate to flow. They have their turn to respond. If something that is not true, when you debate, you come up with it. If you have a different view, you come up with it. But the way they are conducting themselves is giving an impression as if they are deliberately not interested in the debate, but they want us not to be focused. It is a debate. Let them listen. You will always have your bite. They will have their bite, Mr. Speaker. But this frequent rising on points of order, points of this, it will not help a healthy debate.
Honorable members, it seems as if...
Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
No, all of you take your seats now. I'm not going to allow anybody to turn this place into a Crew Town market. Let's allow tempers to cool now. This is not Crew Town Road Market. Now let me tell you about your frequent, incessant introduction of points of order. Let us go to the rules. Look at SO 33. What does it say? I'll read it for all of you. SO 33, interruptions. No member shall interrupt another member except by raising a point of order under SO 34. Now your point of order should be direct, succinct, and you sit down and you allow your colleague to continue the debate. But when you are raising a point of order, another person is raising another point of order, a point of order against another point of order, come on, come on. Well, what do you want to turn this place into? You are no longer debating, you are shouting like a marketplace. And this is not a marketplace.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to make a clarification.
No clarifications are
Mr. Speaker, it is important.
None.
On your own part.
I can clarify for myself. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
And I want you to be cognizant of the amount of time you've already used.
Yeah, most of it has been taken away from me, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I was talking about food security. The fact of the matter is, majority of the people in this country, nobody needs to tell me that it is something I know. No, but majority of the people in this country are food insecure.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, a point of order. He was talking about fuel and he said Sierra Leone is not a... Look at the data here. Sierra Leone is second to Nigeria in terms of the cheapest fuel. So he was talking about fuel. Let him conclude. No, he was talking about fuel.
Mr. Speaker,
honorable member,
then now you are cautioning me about time.
No, wait a minute. The honorable member from Western area. Member from Western area.
You have to dictate for him.
I'm going to give you ample time. Take a pen and paper and take notes. I'm going to give you ample time to reply to all the statements that you find unsubstantiated in your own contribution. But allow him to debate and to land safely. Okay? You'll have your own turn. to take a good bite of the sherry. Now, please, I don't know how much time you still need.
Mr. Speaker, the bulk of my time has been interrupted. So you use your good office now to judge, but I still have
2 minutes to wind up.
Mr. Speaker, I have been robbed. That I want to be very sincere. If only 2 minutes I have been robbed. I have been robbed.
How much do you need?
I need 5 minutes, Mr. Speaker.
Let's settle 3.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the President also spoke about infrastructure. And one thing that bothers me was when he mentioned that rehabilitation and reconstruction of township roads have been done in Kabbalah and other places. The mentioning of Kabbalah bothered me a lot. Because to be honest, that is no secret that this government, since they came to power, has not done anything on roads in Kabbalah Township. We do not have problems with roads. Right from day one, we've been crying to this government that our problems are water and electricity. And up to this moment, nothing has been done in that direction. You cannot convince me by telling me we have done the prospecting, we have done A, B, and C. Our people want to have light and water. And until they have light and water, nothing has been done. When the previous government promised us roads, they ensured that they delivered the road. And Konalugu today, we are proud to say, except for 2 township roads, all the roads are tarred. And this government has not done anything. So it bothered me when I saw in the presidential address that township roads in Kabbalah has been rehabilitated or reconstructed. No, that is not the case.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, with all due respect,
it is not the case.
Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, I'm not interrupting the honourable member. Okay. But it is important when you're debating, don't say things that are not factual. What is written in here? Roads, bridge, and infrastructure. It is written in here that, Mr. Speaker, it is Kailaum Pendembu.
Mr. Speaker, let me interrupt and just read the relevant.
Yeah, go ahead. Read.
Please, because it's like you don't know from where it's going.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, with your leave.
What paragraph?
Paragraph 60. My government has also rehabilitated and reconstructed major township roads in Freetown, Kono, Kabbalah, K-A-B-A-L-A, Kabbalah, and that was why I took offense. Rehabilitation representing Kabbalah. And nothing of those has been done. Rehabilitation. You have not done anything. Listen. Mr. Speaker, this is deliberate. I am representing the people of Kabbalah directly, and our roads are all tarred, so they do not require any rehabilitation at this point in time. They do not. They do not. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you know,
Mr. Speaker, point of order. I can confirm with all alacrity that the Kono Kabbalah Road is under construction. Huge number of kilometers, I can confirm that.
But Mr. Speaker, I'm still being continued to be misquoted. I spoke of township roads and he's talking about Kono Kabbalah. That was what the president said, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I need to read for them again. I need to read for them again to understand. No, wait. Mr. Speaker.
They are neither vex.
Mr. Speaker, in as much as we are debating under rehabilitation, it doesn't just mean the tarmac roads, Ekutin Township Road. Under the SLRA rehabilitation, the major drainages in Kabbalah town we are rehabilitated. If you talk about rehabilitation, doesn't only mean the roads in town. Even the drainages are part of rehabilitation. Have a seat. Let's see the debate.
Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Rehabilitation is on drainage.
Thank you for your unsolicited intervention. No, the honorable member was specific.
Thank you.
He was referring to Township Road in Kabbalah.
From the documents.
Carry on.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
Mr. Speaker, point of order, sir.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
Mr. Speaker, we don't want to correct it.
No.
Mr. Speaker,
I'm a member of the Works
Committee.
Committee. I'm a member of the Works Committee. And we are carrying oversight in Kabbalah, within the township of Kabbalah. So the honorable member is not saying the correct thing. I'm a member of the Works Committee. You are not saying the correct thing.
Honorable member from Freetown, take your seat.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I'm in sympathy with you.
Take your seat.
Mr. I'm so much in sympathy with you.
Go
Mr.
ahead
Speaker.
and try and conclude.
Continue.
Mr. Speaker, honorable member, definitely you will not distract me. No. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you know, the president spoke a lot also about electricity. In fact, as far as this is concerned, I don't need to talk about Kwenadugu, Kabbalah in particular, because we don't have none. But in the area I reside here, to just show how much this government has improved, well, in quote, improved in the area of agriculture, the electricity, the area I live. Mr. Speaker, it is so disheartening. At Shell, Old Road Shell, no, let me show them because they need to confirm. When light comes, the kids will come out, light don't come, SO2, light don't come. You know, it reminds me of the dark days of the president. And yet we are here talking about how much we have improved electricity. Most of the MPs here are using generators in their homes. They know it.
And with that,
Mr. Speaker, to conclude, permit me to just end with what a constituent sent to me before this debate. After hearing the president's speech, he sent this message to me and asked that let me please, on behalf of himself and other constituents, say this out. He said, message to the president. He said, Mr. President, exactly 4 years ago, you promised us paradise. Little did we know what you meant. We were hopeful and excited. Today you delivered us hell. You have hurt the womb of our nation. You promised to end corruption. Instead, you provided shelter and protection for the corrupt. You promised us bread and butter. Instead, you gave us hunger and starvation. You promised us sustainable electricity, yet we wallow in endless darkness. You promised us water, yet there are endless queues at odd hours fighting for whatever kind of water they could fetch. You promised us quality and cost-free education, yet our children cannot freely express themselves well. Mr. President, we are reading from the script. We did not understand your use of language then, but now we clearly do. It's obvious to us all that the things you said you would do were the things you will not do, and what you said you wouldn't do were actually the things you will do.
End of quote.
If we had understood you earlier, we wouldn't have been so excited and hopeful. Now that we know that your spoken words are the direct opposite of your intentions, nobody cares about what you say anymore, because they do not want a pinch of salt. In conclusion, you don't care how many times we have cried because you are not concerned with our needs. Your blade of betrayal and deceit has cut deep into our hearts and shattered our hopes. For 4 years, we have hopelessly hoped. Now we are hopefully hopeful of your departure so that we can begin to hope, hopefully.
Time by Yazane.
I rest my case, Mr. Speaker.
Time by Yazane.
And they are using the mic.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to say that the honourable member that I've just concluded went to the Institute of African Studies, so he's a very good dramatist.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr.
Speaker.
Is that a new one?
Mr. Speaker.
Is it accredited?
No, sir, it's an institute at Fabe College.
It's an institute at Fabe College. USF.
African Studies.
And I hope it is an accredited one.
No, it's an institute at Fabe College, University of Sierra Leone.
Mr. Speaker, may I ask how Tawa knew about that?
It's ongoing.
Actually,
you will going through what?
My last
Mr. Speaker
today is the Honorable Lady.
Mr. Speaker, in most cases, when references of this nature are made, quote and unquote, we give reference to the writer. We had a very, very good literature, a very good poem from the Honorable Member, written by no less a person we have an unknown. However, Mr. Speaker, I am grateful that after my interjection today, I now see I have to continue because I have seen other people liberated. Mr. Speaker, the essence of me coming to Parliament is to speak for and on behalf of my people. I do not see any reason why I should be prevented from representing a very good representation. Let me speak so that my people hear, and if the speaker fails to listen, I am prepared to speak for the constituents and for this nation. I continue to say I have been disenfranchised and I have complained to my constituents and to this nation that Mr. Speaker have refused me and have given audience to other people. Let me have a say and a bite that if my honorable colleague who spoke very well and the literature he spoke was the same literature Mr. Speaker some 20 years ago in this House of Parliament was one of the best speakers. I think I admire your literature. But can we get the reference? Can we get the reference, Mr. Speaker? Honorable members and constituents, I continue to say, Mr. Speaker, continue to deny me the legitimate authority for which you elected me. And therefore, I am here to complain again to you that, Mr. Speaker, continue to refuse me. And I have the mandate from the people to speak. I continue to say, Mr. Speaker, I have been disenfranchised. Mr. Speaker, I will continue to complain and I will call on this nation to cry foul. I am not being treated fairly. I continue to say I have not done any wrong. My purpose here is to speak as you were from 20 years in this parliament. We admire you and this is why some of us are in parliament. But if you prevent me, I have this mic, I will continue to speak. Take your seat. To God be the glory. Mr. Speaker, let me end in this quote. Let me end with this quote that says, the law sees your inside, the law sees what you say in your mind, the thoughts, your actions, and your words. If they are against me, God forgive. But I have the right to speak, and this is why I'm here.
There are rules that you must obey,
which I have never failed. Which I have never made, Honorable Jonah.
Right?
I know I have kept to the rules. I have kept to the rules, but I feel disenfranchised and I must speak Honorable Jonah that in the presidential debate of this nature, I should not be rejected. Please, Honorable. The Speaker,
if I get that kind of performance from you again, I will ask you out of this well.
Yeah, please. And there is one thing you need to know, the Speaker is purely in charge of proceedings.
I will ask you out of the well if you continue.
It's true. The Speaker is in charge.
Example, may go out. Pass the ruling. It has to go out now. Pass the ruling, Mr. Speaker, for precedent for the tomorrow. Pass the ruling on this, and I will support you. No, pass the ruling on this. Pass the ruling, may go out. No, for precedent. Now it's really good. Pull out. No, pull out. Now, no, man, so, Mr. Speaker, send her out.
You don't want to do it. So why you
President, don't make the announcement. That's what the deal.
Why not supposed to?
He's not.
When I did that, it's not
Thank you. Sometimes it can be. That's what it is. So pass the ruling on him.
No, I don't want about it.
No, but still pass the ruling.
No. Mr. Speaker, don't make any statement now. Don't make any statement now.
Honorable lady from Bo District, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable members, please.
One of us is honorable members.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I know you have been disturbed, but never mind. That is Parliament. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me appreciate you once more for giving me this, for giving me a bite in contributing towards appreciating His Excellency for the speech he delivered in this way. But Mr. Speaker, allow me to preface my short intervention by appreciating Honorable Alpha Khan. Honorable Alpha Khan was with us at the Bay Bridge. And he really appreciated what we did or what we have done for Poloko District. Mr. Speaker, I've lived in Poloko. I lived in Poloko for so many years. And believe me, that bridge was a concern for most of us each time we wanted to come either to Freetown or to access the other parts of the country. It was a concern for us. And for me personally, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to give a special thanks to His Excellency. Because like Honorable Alpha Khan rightly said, using biological vocabulary by saying we have two arteries that serves the heart. And already, any one of those two ventricles, any one of those two ventricles are really very important in serving the heart. No matter what we may say, that bridge, which we have fixed up as a government, is really, really very important. It's really very important, and I want to join Honorable Alpha Khan in thanking His Excellency the President for what he has done for that part of the country. You know, I cannot imagine as a president for 11 years being in power, using a road, and I call that road a trunk road, flying along, allow me to preface my statement, please. Flying along that route, using dangerous bridge like the one, the former one, without fixing it up. But let me say thank you to His Excellency, the President. He normally, in most cases, say, APC, with respect to you, he say, we are not good SO2, we are not good for ourselves, we are not good for this country. That bridge would have been a very good priority for our ex-government, but did not fix it up. HE, on behalf of my people, of constituency 086, I want to say thank you. I've had a lot of other interventions. Quickly, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want us to consider the simple adage that says, you leap before you fall. You leap before you fall. Some people are now thinking or saying a lot of things about what is happening now, but we have forgotten what happened or what led us to what is happening now. Mr. Speaker, let me call the attention of very few. It's unfortunate that Masogbara, the representative for Masogbara, is not here. You know, sometimes, you know, some of them are very young to even realize the fact that this country used to export rice. This country, Sierra Leone, used to export rice. But I always tell this House that if we should import rice now, it's not SLPP. The importation started from APC time when they took over governance. I stand to be corrected. I stand to be corrected. You brought in green revolution.
Now you don't begin.
You closed Tomabo. You closed Rokopro. All these places that people cultivated to give us rice in this country. You people closed all these places and decided to go to China and buy out the food that we eat. Look, let me tell you, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you will never be fed if you don't grow the food you eat. Until this country decides to cultivate the food that we eat, we will never be food sufficient. So let us be very patriotic by telling our people to see how we can come together, be you APC, be you SLPP or whatever party. Believe me, let us come together, cultivate our land to feed us. Until we feed ourselves, hunger will be our portion, and we don't want that. So coming to the speech itself, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, on behalf of my constituency, I want to say thanks to His Excellency the President. Mr. Speaker, I considered this speech as His Excellency giving a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis. The successes he has made so far, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. They are all here. He did not say he has succeeded 100%. And the reason why he may not have succeeded 100%, that he analyzed in this report, in this statement. And therefore, we must say thanks to His Excellency the President. In spite of Mr. Speaker, honorable members, in spite of all the challenges, in spite of all what as a country we are faced with, he has done so much. Let us just don't criticize because we want to gain symbols to come back to Parliament. But let us criticize so that the people of this country will know that we are representing them well. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, having said that, I want to consider just few points here because of time, because I know looking at the faces of my colleagues. All right, okay. No, I know. I want to consider education as my number one point that I'll touch on. Mr. Speaker, let us be sincere again with ourselves. Mr. Speaker, even class 1 children, we are denied their results third term. Each time they give out results, class 1 children were denied their results because of fees. Class 1, I stand to be corrected. Class 1, before this time, they were denied of their results because of school fees. But now, every child at the end of every academic year takes home his or her report card happily to the parents. Why? Because government is paying fees for them. Why can't we be grateful to this government? In spite of all what has been analyzed here, the difficulties, yet the government is taking care of our children. From class 1 to SS3, Mr. Speaker, let us be grateful to His Excellency the President, because he has decided to change the narrative. Children used to be dropouts, even from primary school, Mr. Speaker, because they cannot afford the NPSC fees. They cannot afford daycare fees. They cannot afford WASS fees. But yeah, I've started from class 1. But I just want to name some of these public exams that made most of them to fall out of school. Today, government is taking care of all that one. Let us be very grateful. Initially, when some of us were kids, what used to encourage us to go to school was that school feeding program. School feeding. It used to encourage children to go to school. In our villages, we used to, leader, no leader please. In our villages, initially, or before this time, when the school system was shattered, was brought to zero, children fail to go to school because they do not even have lunch to eat in school. But now, you find out that in most districts, which we used to call deprived districts, now have the opportunity of having their children be fed in school. What's a great opportunity? Why can't we say thank you? Thank you, His Excellency. If people cannot say thank you, I'm saying thank you on behalf of me and my very people in Bo. You have done so much. Let us look at some other facilities in schools. Apart from tuition fees, we initially had a lot of girls dropping off from school because they did not have the requisite kind of people to talk to them. To talk to them, to encourage them, to let them know that education must be their priority. We have a program. We had a program here, and we still have it. That's Hands Off Our Girls. Mr. Speaker, that project is a very fruitful project. It's a very fruitful project that has encouraged our girl children now. They now know that they should go to school. They now know that they are not just going to be housewives, but they should be people that should contribute towards not only their homes, but towards the country. And now we have a lot of them. You see now, you now see girls challenging boys in school. If you look at some of the statistics in some schools, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you have more of girls in school, enrolled in schools, than boys. Why? Because of this project, this very wonderful project, Hands Off Our Girls. I want to say thank you to Her Excellency, the First Lady, for introducing that kind of, that very, very viable project in this country. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, of course, the fishing sector, much has been done for the fishing sector. I've been part of a lot of programs encouraging youth, encouraging women in the fishing sector to own their own boats and to be effective and efficient people in their communities. We have a lot of women now, if you go to Tombo, that have earned so much from the Ministry of Fisheries and of course, by extension, the government, encouraging them to go into fishing, and at least they gave them some startup kits. Now, you have most of them taking care of their homes. The fishing sector is facing few challenges, but that will be surmounted when we shall have got our fish harbor. Because that fish harbor is what most of us are looking forward to. It's going to be a beneficial program for this country. It's going to bring a lot of good things in the fishing sector, which this country we benefit from. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, like I said earlier on, food sufficiency is only when we grow our own food. When we grow our own food, definitely there will be food sufficiency in this country. what we need to do perhaps is to encourage more of inland valley swamp cultivation. We need to encourage that kind of practice, to practice inland valley swamp, so that at the end of the day, we'll make sure to have more food on the table. Because the upland rice, the cultivation of the upland will not yield much as inland valley swamp. But now, Mr. Speaker, when you go through page 9, you will see the kind of support government has rendered communities for them to grow their own food. Growing food is not only rice, but if you check even cassava farming, there's so much support now. When it comes to rice cultivation, you now have a lot. Of course, this mechanized farming is what government really wants to embark on. And with that, they have really managed to send machines for mechanized farming in many communities where they cultivate or who are interested in agriculture. But in agriculture also, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want us to consider aquaculture. You know, there is so much pressure on this sea farming or fishing in the sea. We need to encourage our community people to go into aquaculture. Aquaculture is really very important. Aquaculture, for me, will yield more than going to the sea to fish. Because it's like we have so many problems with this sea fishing. You see, Mr. Speaker, I'll be touching on one or two other points as I go into this aquaculture. Because when we talk about fishing, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, believe me, the sea is being contaminated. If you check along the beach, you see the kind of plastic, either plastic bottles or plastic bags and so on. But so much deposit of this plastic has been littered all along the beach. And that is causing us some serious problem. It is costing us so much. Because now you find out that where the fishes come to breed or to spawn, that is where we have these deposits, these large deposits of plastic. So at the end of the day, we don't have them having their eggs or spawning their eggs right along where they are supposed to spawn their eggs. You see, so it is costing us. But these are some of the things, these are some of the aftermath, these are some of the effects of what will happen to us tomorrow. Because when there's no fish in the market, we'll turn around to say, oh, there's no fish in the market, government is depriving us this, government is deprived, because everything is now government. Everything. Even for us to have food on our table, we want government to go and prepare it, go to the kitchen, prepare the food, dish it, then the only thing we should do is to eat. So let us be thinking of all these things as a country, as Sierra Leoneans. Let us be thinking of some of these things. Let us encourage. Most of us come from Holy Land, from, we have swamps that we can cultivate and practice this aquaculture. Government has done so much. And government even intends to do more to encourage youth, to encourage women, to put food on their table, to put money in their pockets. Government is prepared for that. Honorable members, of course, I've made mention of one of the ventricles, which is the Bagbele Bridge. There's another one, which will come soon, which has been abandoned for so many years. That's the Mabang Bridge I'm talking about. And that's the right ventricle. That's the right ventricle that serves this part of the country, that serves this heart of the country. Because Freetown is the heart of the country. Freetown is the heart of the country. So if we have, a short course from Moyamba to Freetown, You know, what is wrong about that? That bridge was abandoned for so many years, in spite of all the challenges, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. His Excellency the President decided to give priority to that bridge. Very soon, we'll go and commission it, like we did with the Magbere Bridge that was abandoned for 11 years in power. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, on page 13, of course, I don't want to bore you with reading. That's why I've just decided to have this small handout. On page 13, we still have these bridges and infrastructure, of course. You know, it is not easy for road construction to go on. But like His Excellency mentioned in his opening statement, you'll see that in spite of this COVID-19, in spite of the war, this Ukraine war, that has affected this whole world, believe me, His Excellency is still doing some good work in infrastructure. If you go to Kenema, you go to Bo, you go to Makeni, you go to Kabbalah, which my brother was denying, you know, yes, road work is going on. You know, one thing about His Excellency the President, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, he is patriotic. That's one thing I like about him. He is really patriotic. He does not concentrate on one region. I'm just concentrating on the south because I come from the south. Otherwise, Bere Bridge would not have been completed, because Bere Bridge is not in the south. But just imagine, he's doing all this. He makes sure that everybody takes some part of the cake, that the country enjoys. A lot of things, or anything that the country has, everybody should be part of it. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, electricity, of course. There are areas in this country that has never seen light ever since the creation of their communities. Mr. Speaker, we now have electricity in these places. In villages, chiefdom headquarter towns now can boast of the mini-grid. They now have electricity. They can now drink cold water. They now sell their eyes or whatever and have money. The women can now have money in their pockets. You see, the children can now study using lights instead of candles, instead of the Chinese lights. The children can now study. You know, I cannot imagine. Sometimes I sit down and think, if His Excellency the President actually took this country with some cash at hand, with some cash in the coffers, he would have done better than what he has done. He would have done so much. Because just imagine taking a country from austerity. There was nothing. In fact, this country was going into bankruptcy. But that's because those are the stages. From austerity, we would have moved to bankruptcy. You understand? Taking a governance at that point, from austerity, and you've done so much, His Excellency the President, you have done so much. I thank you. I thank you so much, because if you are not patriotic, you will not have done that much. That man is depriving himself so much, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. He is depriving himself so much of a lot of things, of a lot of facilities that he should enjoy as president, only to serve this country. Let us be grateful to him. Let us make sure we appreciate him. So I appreciate His Excellency. A lot of villages. How many of us in our chiefdom headquarters have lights now? Please put up your hands. You see there? You see? All our villages, all our constituencies, they now have lights. We can now be proud of lights. That's a very good development in that direction. Page 18 will tell us more. Let me come to women and children. Mr. Speaker, honorable members. With this, I'll make reference to page 28. Let us see the way His Excellency demonstrates patriotism. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, if I've made reference to 124, paragraph 124, of course, on page 28. The statement there, I'll read quickly. There can be no true development if our women are not free and equal. Our goal of promoting development, tackling poverty, and entrenching good governance cannot be met without the full and free participation of the great women of our dear nation. Hey, Mr. President, thank you for that. You know, he's so passionate about women. He's so passionate because he knows that this country will only develop with us when we work in partnership, when we work side by side. We don't want to be at the back anymore. We want to be right in front or by the side. If you put us at the helm of the affairs of this country, Mr. Speaker, Sierra Leone is going to be a very good country. Try it, you see. Just try it. So I want to appreciate His Excellency because of that kind of concern he has shown for us as women in this country. We can do better than men. You try us. We can do better than men. Even in this parliament, Mr. Speaker, check on women as chairpersons. Check, you check, Mr. Speaker. Believe me, we can do better. We can do. I want to assure Mr. Speaker and colleagues that we can do better.
She needs your protection, Mr. Speaker. Allow her to talk.
I'm not going to be distracted. I'm not going to allow myself to be distracted. Don't worry. So because of the law His Excellency has, Mr. Speaker, I need your protection, please. Mr. Speaker, I need your protection.
Tawa, stop this. Stop this.
Okay.
Rules of debate, thou shalt not sleep in parliament.
And could easily fend off all the distractions you people were making. But with that one,
yeah, with that, Mr. Speaker, honorable members,
she needs the protection she's asked for.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
And this time, I think I was able to detect where the sound was coming from.
At my back. The sound came from my back.
The person knows himself.
So, Mr. Speaker, I want to round up, like I said, that His Excellency the President means something good for this country. You know, in his conclusion, Mr. Speaker, in his conclusion, Mr. Speaker, when you read this conclusion, you know how much he loves this country. He's a man of peace. He's a man that is not vindictive. He's a man that, in spite of whatever vindication he has gone through, believe me, Mr. Speaker, you see him bringing some of those people, talking to them, and joining hands with them only for the development of this country. What a great man, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in this conclusion, which I'll read, because somebody has already read it, but let me just quickly go through, because I like this statement so much. You have heard a lot about my government's accomplishments, but the job is far from over. So like I said, that's what analysis. There are still threats, but there are opportunities for us to surmount those threats. Our challenges will never disappear, but together we can create new dreams, new hopes, instead of new fears and new crises. What a great statement. Let us go to bed with this, so that Sierra Leone will be one. I thank you.
I thank the Honorable Lady for her contribution to the debate. Any announcements? No announcements. This House, honorable members, stands adjourned to Wednesday, the 25th of May at 10 a.m. prompt.
Honorable Joanna,